Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day and welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast with Rhodey and Diz. Today's the inaugural episode, so thanks a lot for joining us. My name's Matt Rhodey for short, and I'm joined here by Diz. Diz, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, well, Matt, also known as Diz, and got into fishing as a young lad on the Old Man's Haynes Hunter, and that's why I got back. And then decided to buy you, which was a jump down to Kirsten. We had that on down for a while, and once we were done on down you, then I would place it around the corner, and I went from there.
Keep it brief, mate. We don't need your whole bloody life story, thanks. Really, this is just as all good stories start, bit of banter on the boat. One thing led to another, and here we are having a fishing podcast about all the fish we missed out on. So what's going to happen is, Diz, you'll talk us through how the podcast's going to work.
Yep, I'll let you know about the format, guys. We want to get some regular segments each week. We're going to do our best to get a guest on for every single episode. Today, we're lucky enough to be joined by Stu Ferenci. He absolutely smashed it in the Coast to Coast Tuna comp. So definitely stick around because he's got some really hot tips and some of his greatest fishing stories, including one time he got caught out on the boat when he needed to do number 2. So hang around for that. We're going to have a bit of banter and we're definitely going to have a few laughs along the way. I hope you guys enjoy the podcast.
And most of all, guys, we really want this to be an interactive thing. So make sure you jump on Facebook and Instagram, give us a like, hit us up with any questions or comments, or if you think we're not funny, if you think our jokes are no good, make sure you let us know. But we certainly want you to get involved. We'll put some pictures up, make sure we share what's going on.
For sure, and one of the regular segments we're going to do each week is oranges and lemons. So we often do this on our fishing trips. We ask each other what the orange and lemon's been of the week. So we're going to have that in each week, and hopefully that provides a few laughs. So I'm going to start with my orange. Was finally getting this podcast underway. We've had hiccups and hurdles and all sorts. I didn't think getting a podcast off the ground was going to be so hard, but shout out to old mate at JB Hi-Fi. He got us up and going.
He was a guru, wasn't he?
He was. He absolutely loved it. And my lemon for this week, no fishing. Couldn't get out on the boat. Flat out at work. All sorts going on, but really looking forward to that next trip. Rhodey, tell us about your orange, mate.
So my orange has got to be knowing the boat works. As we're going to touch on later on, we had a week over on the York Peninsula just gone a couple of weeks ago. And, geez, the bloody thing was inconsistent. It went, it didn't go, it just couldn't quite make its mind up. But we've had Lee from Lee's Marine out doing a bit of work on it. So big shout out to Lee. And we did sneak out for a test run weekend before last, and it worked a dream. So that's my orange, the boat working. My lemon has got to be our insufficiency with technology. We made GarageBand look bloody difficult. We couldn't work the bloody speaker or the headphones. So if anyone knows a good tech guru out there, please put us in contact.
Yeah, that's for sure. You should go and see that guy at JB Hi-Fi because he was a tech guru as well. We're going to go on to the fishing news. That's going to be another regular segment of our podcast each week. I'm going to start us off with the Warina Tuna comp. That was postponed a couple of weeks ago. They've moved it to this coming weekend, the 28th of Feb. $5,000 cash up for grabs. Fantastic prizes. If you're really into your tuna, then you've got to get down there, guys. Out off Warina. We know there's some hot spots out there, so get amongst it.
I just hope Stu Ferenci's not fishing in it because we're no bloody chance if he's involved.
Oh, definitely not.
Next bit of news, the Shellfish Reef Survey is underway. So similar to the Windara Reef over at Rogues Point, which was the first artificial reef that was put in, where the state government are looking to put in another one. It'll be the size of Adelaide Oval. So surely in that bigger space, even you could pull in a whiting in there, I reckon, mate.
Well, we thought we could pull in a whiting at Windara, but we had no luck there either.
So Shellfish Reef once covered a third of the South Australian coastline and no native oyster reefs remain. So this is a bit of an effort from the government, which is great to redevelop the ocean floor. Port Noarlunga, O'Sullivan Beach and Glenelg are the options. The area chosen will need to be closed for 5 years for construction. If you've got an opinion on where this should be put, head to the Your Say government website to cast a vote.
Yep, and the snapper season too, opening up down in the southeast. Start of Feb, five tags per recreational fisherman.
If you got it in the
fisherwoman, if you get it in the ballot, that's exactly right. So that's all been happening. Roddy, tell us about the Murray cod fingerlings.
So 90,000 little baby Murray cod were released on February 6, 70,000 at Kingston on the Murray, and the remainder into the Pike River near Paringa. There is a further 110,000 planned for the second stage of release early in the new year. And this was a project that was brought about through the Minister's Recreational Fishing Advisory Council, which was formed early last year. So good to see them getting some runs on the board for the recreational fishermen.
Yeah, we hope they continue to get some runs on the board for the rec fishers. It's a good initiative, and I think they'll be able to achieve some good things.
So next up in our regular segments, we're going to give a quick little run around of the state's fishing reports. So Diz, where can the great folk here catch a fish?
Well, not that we'd be able to point them in the right direction, Metro, off Marina and Brighton, but we are hearing that they're getting quite a few squid. The blue swimmer crabs are thick though. We saw plenty of boats out there, a lot of people at the ramp getting plenty of blue swimmer crabs, and there's also a lot of them over at the peninsula. We'll touch on that later. We did get some over there, didn't we, Rody? Filled the esky?
It's very rare for us to get the bag, but we filled the esky with crabs.
We did. The garfish, they're going well. They're getting a bit hotter towards West Beach. We've also had some mates down the bottom end get good numbers. Certainly when you're out dabbing, you want no moon. No moon, Rody. You want it nice and dark. The dabbing light does its thing. I occasionally get that confused, but not today. Tell us about the tuna.
I'm glad we got that one right. Yes, as we'll touch on a bit later on with Stu, there has been good numbers of tuna around Victor Harbour, particularly during the tuna comp, but I've seen plenty of videos floating around since then as well, with some real good schools of tuna getting around. Also some down the bottom of the foot and over on the Eyre Peninsula. I don't know if you guys have seen this one, but there's also a couple of videos floating around on the social media of some metropolitan bluefin tuna. Yes, you heard that right. There is a video of one swimming up and down the Brighton jetty and another one, possibly the same fish, who would know, in the marina at Glenelg.
Get on Facebook and let us know your thoughts on that one, guys. Really interesting footage.
So we're also hearing some good reports of mulloway over on the west coast at the dog fence. Couple of mates hit up the Coorong last weekend and they got some gummy sharks and plenty of smaller mullies, but didn't crack the big one.
Yes. The old man's been telling me a few of his mates have been getting some good numbers of whiting off York Peninsula in the hotspots, Port Vic, Hardwick Bay, down near Turton. Also, you are sort of hearing some mixed results through the metro area, but I think they've been doing reasonably well at the O'Sullivan's Beach areas.
So that wraps up the fishing report for today. All right, welcome aboard our first guest on the All the Gear But No Idea podcast, Stu Ferenci. From Team Go Get 'em in the Coast to Coast tuna competition, Stu had a great couple of days on the water and managed to pull in the champion fish, 19.65 kilos gutted, so a little bit more than that when he pulled it in. Thanks a lot for joining us, Stu.
Thanks for having me.
Fantastic effort, mate. That's really impressive. We'll run through our regular segment today, the 5 quick questions. Rody, hit Stu with the first one.
All right, Stu, tell us about your best fish.
I've probably got 2. I find it a bit hard to split them. So the first one would be my first ever kingfish. So they're a prize trophy fish, as I'm sure you're both aware. And it took me 4 years to land my first one. I lost quite a few leading up to it. And my first ever kingfish was also my biggest. So it went 147 centimetres.
Oh, wow.
Total length.
Whereabouts?
So it was a big fish, about 25 to 30 kilo probably. It had spawn, so it was a little bit skinny, but it would have still been about 25, 30 kilo estimated weight. Got him at Port Augusta, so...
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, that's... our probably for our kingfish, where they head up there to spawn, up on the top of the Gulf, as most people know. So, got him on my Tiagra 30 wide. I went heavy because I was trying not to lose it. So I was sick of losing kingfish to the Port Augusta wall. So that was pretty exciting and pretty rewarding, because it had taken me 4 years, probably 20 or 30 trips, 4 or 5 trips up there each season.
Wow.
To land my first one. So that was pretty special. And then probably my other one was off Wedge Island. We were tuna fishing. Had a big school cubed up on pilchards. My best mate was hooked up, and I was frantically trying to find a rod. And all I could find that wasn't already rigged up with other lures or traces and stuff and leaders was a blue gamoku with a little 4,000 Shimano Sedona. So I grabbed that and I clipped the circle hook straight to the snap swivel.
Wow.
Didn't even tie a leader on it, and dropped in pilchard, was on straight away. 10 minutes into the fight, the fish darted under the boat. And anyone that owns a gamoku, they don't really like to be bent like that, and it's just snapped with one eye left on the rod.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you're kidding.
40 minutes to 50 minutes later, ended up landing the fish with one eye left on the rod.
You'd have sore shoulders at the end of that, I reckon.
I did, yeah. Went about 16 kilos. It was a nice little fat fish, but got it all on footage and photos, so it was pretty cool. Catching it on really, really light, really light gear. I think it was 20-pound line or something. So it was pretty cool. So they're probably my best 2 fish.
Beautiful. Yeah, fantastic, mate. They certainly outdo Rhodey's best fish, that's for sure. Stu, tell us your favourite thing about fishing, mate.
I know it's a little bit cliche, but everything. So there's nothing more relaxing than being on the water. The thrill of screaming drag, the joy of relief of catching that trophy fish after all the, when it hits the deck, after all the hard yards that you put in. There's no other feeling in the world like it, in my opinion. The adrenaline is just like nothing else. It's just really hard to describe for people that don't fish. And even just taking the kids out, taking the wife out for a cruise, going dolphin watching with a couple of beers, especially down my way where I live, which is a great part of the world, down South Adelaide, Rodinga Beach, with Selix and we're in a cove. It's just a magical place, the ocean. So I know it's a bit cliche, but every chance I get, I'm on the water.
No, nothing wrong with that at all, Stu. What's your first fishing memory, or what got you into fishing?
So I grew up with a shack in Fisherman's Bay, so in Port Broughton. So every weekend, every school holidays, we spent down at the shack. And anyone that knows Port Broughton, Fisherman's Bay, back in that sort of 90s, the crabs, flathead, whiting, snapper was all just nuts fishing down there. So that's what I grew up on, fishing for those in Dad's boat, and friends and family and stuff. And then as we got a bit older, we sort of moved towards Yorks more and started fishing a bit more down there. And it just became a bigger hobby and addiction for me. Dad obviously had his own boat. Then I bought my own boat when I was around 22, 23. But my first memory is definitely Port Broughton, down at the shack there, catching fish off the jetty, going out on the boat. They used to do, you can vaguely remember, I was really young, I would have been about 5 or 6, and they had I think the wreck was called the Illusions, I believe.
Okay.
And the snapper band would come off, and they'd literally sound an alarm, and all the boats would race out there.
Wow.
And just smash big snapper. Back in the day, it was really cool.
Yeah.
So,
it's a great part of the world, that's for sure. Stu, what about your favourite sort of fishing, and why?
Favourite style of fishing is definitely boat and boat only. I don't have the patience for jetty or land-based fishing. Like some people will sit there for weeks on end, and they'll catch trophy fish, big sharks or big mulloway. But I like getting out wide, fishing hard, getting up real early, fishing really late, and definitely game fishing. So 6 or 7 years ago, I got into game fishing and got hooked and addicted and haven't really looked back. It's extremely challenging at times, but when you get those trophy fish, it's extremely rewarding. I just like fish that pull serious drag. So a lot of miles, hours, and money invested, but the trophy fish, your tuna, your kingfish are all definitely worth it. Barrel's next on the hit list, and then when the kids get a little bit older, I'll be able to head up to Queensland and Exmouth and places like that and get on the Marlin and the GTs. And I guess my favourite technique would have to be tuna up on the cube. So fishing for them like that is basically where you have a score, you sound them up, and you throw dead pilchards overboard, and they literally come swim right underneath the boat. And you literally just slap a pilchard on the surface of the water, and a tuna, 1,000,000 miles an hour, they're the second fastest swimming fish in the ocean, will just come along, smash it, and you just clip that bail arm over, and that first run is just blistering because they've already got the speed up, and you just can do nothing but just hold on with lock drag and just away it goes.
Just enjoy the ride.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just a scintillating first run that they do, because they hit the bait at such speed to begin with, and you literally watch them take it like it's on the surface. So it's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
What about Stu? Any funny fishing stories, or tell us about the one that got away?
I can do both. I've got one funny story. The one that got away, I think, the 20 to 30 lost kingfish at the Port Augusta Power Station Hall, and all SA game fishers can relate to that.
Yeah.
But then, funny story, a true story, I was out off Wedge Island, and it was a really, really quiet day. It was early in the season, but we still went for a look, and I was busting for the loo. So, busting for number twos, and for those people that don't know, you're out in offshore, you scrounge around for a bucket. If you don't have a bucket, you don't really have much choice but to go over the side. So when you have to go, right?
That's exactly
so
right.
We're still trolling for tuna, and I'm on the back of my best mate's boat, which is an Arbor 20 at the time, and it's got the marlin board or the landing deck on the back.
Yeah.
So I was stripped down, pants off, jocks off, been really quiet all day, and there I am, mid-dump, and then tuna jump out straight in front of the boat. Rod goes straight up the bow. Rod goes off, and bang, we're on. And right next to my ear is where the line is, and my mate is just filming the entire thing, laughing his head off. You haven't seen me jump up so quick. I've never put my pants up so quick. Managed to still land the fish as well, but yeah,
that's the main thing.
I landed it. Completely naked like that, no pants on, no jocks on, because I just quickly finished up and still had a shirt on, but the bottom half, and there was plenty of other boats around it, so I'm sure a few people got a good laugh out of it.
So it made a good photo, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think he posted it even to the Mad Viewers, I think. So.
Well, they would have loved it.
We were going to ask you a bit later on today what your favourite tip to get the fish on the bite are, but now we know it's taking a crap off the back of your mate's boat.
Yeah, that's the treat. That's the secret. Absolutely, a bit of burley.
So moving on to the coast to coast competition, how many have you fished in? How many years have you done the competition?
I think pretty much every year I've either fished it or wanted to fish it. Sometimes you've had to bail because of the weather.
Yeah.
So my boat's only a 5 metre boat, so I've got to be a little bit more careful. But this year, we're really good friends with most of the fishers, like our members in the game pub, and I'm good friends with a lot of fishers, including the commercial operators and the charter operators and the tuna fleet and stuff. So we teamed up instead of fishing against each other. So it wasn't we'd go get them. I'm really good friends with Tommy, the skipper, and he's a great skipper. And my best mate, Tommy Hutt, and Richard Noy from Asia Fisher and his mate Chris, we all sort of teamed up instead of fishing against each other, which, because we're all pretty experienced fishers, it allowed us to go wide. And the Saturday was a little bit sloppy, and if it was a charter, Tommy probably wouldn't have been able to go out there. Because he had us on board, we were able to go out there. So I've pretty much been involved with it every year. I think it's been running for, is it 4 or 5 years now, maybe?
Yeah, 5 or 6, I think. Yeah.
5 or 6, yeah. So pretty much, fished it at least 3 or 4 times, and there's a couple of times that I haven't been able to, purely because of the weather.
And what sort of boat were you in, did you say?
So we're on the Go Get 'em boat, which is I'll fish it in my boat, which is a blue water streaker, a 5 metre.
Yeah.
But this season we're on Tommy's broadbill sailfish, the big blue catamaran from Go Get 'em. So obviously, you've got a 7.5, 8 metre boat, so it allows you, even when the weather's a bit sloppy, to get out
to get into
wider.
Yeah.
Off the back of KI there, where the bigger fish sort of hang. So
Yeah, fantastic, Stu. And tell us about the prize fish, mate. How did it go?
yeah, so it's a really sad story, to be honest. So all day we were catching 15, 16 kilo fish, couple around 17, and they were putting up good fights, and we were sort of sifting through them, because obviously in the comp you can tag and release as well. So we were releasing the fish that we didn't think were as big as the ones to weigh in.
Yeah.
We ended up getting away from a school, just driving somewhere else. I had a lure on, and with the game club we have line classes as well, which are all rules set out by Game Fishing Association, the International Game Fishing Association. So I had my 15 kilo outfit, which is a Shimano Talica, which has just got 15 kilo line on it, way out the back on a deep diver. I didn't sound anything, there was no tuna around, and it got hit and pulled a couple of times. And I said to Tommy, we didn't hook up on any other rod, I said to Tommy, all right, that's it, cut the engine, I'll get him into the boat. He literally swam to the boat in about 30 seconds to a minute. He got underneath me, and I looked at him, and I was like, he's actually not too bad at fish. He shook his head a couple of times, we sunk the gaff in, pulled him overboard, and we were like, these fish we've got all day. So
Easy as that.
That's fishing for you. It's every fish is different. I don't know whether he didn't realise he was hooked, or he just couldn't be bothered fighting. But yeah, he fought like a dog, that fish. On a light outfit as well. 15 kilo, 30 pound outfit. And, yeah, he would have been probably 21, 22 kilo whole, and yeah, it was 19.6 something when he was gutted and killed. So. Yeah, it was 2 weeks before that too. I got one that was closer to 30 kilo, same sort of area that I tagged and released. Yeah, he was a donkey fish, and that's what we were trying to hope for. We were finding out there, but we couldn't find any. But it was still enough to get me over the line. I got it on the Saturday though, which was the worst part, because the entire Saturday night and Sunday I was just stressing that someone was going to beat me.
And was that over near KI? Did you say, Stu?
Yeah, mate, over the back of KI, out of there's a couple of big banks out the back there. Sanders Bank and Carter's not.
Yeah.
And that's where we got him, so, yeah.
Yeah, and what sort of lures do you have in your spread for a competition like that, Stu?
You run everything, so you want to run all sorts of different distances, all sorts of different colours. So as a general rule, you run your skirts out wide and out the back, so you're talking 100, 150 metres back, and then you run, a couple of deep divers in close and a couple a little bit further back. So you're normally running between 4 to 6 rods in your spread, and then obviously you try and get schools to get up on the cube on the pilchers, because then they literally just hang with you. They think the boat's a bait ball, and as long as you keep feeding them, they'll hang with you for 2 hours, 3 hours until you run out of bait, basically.
Yeah, we've tried to do that a couple of times on a few of our trips off KI, but we haven't had any luck. But we'll have to keep sticking at it.
There is a fine art to it. It's like anything with game fishing. There is a fine art to it. There's certain things, like tuna have really big eyes. So if they see any imperfection in your leader, or they see the hook, or they see the swivel, they'll literally swim up to it and turn off of it.
Yeah, right.
So. Yeah, little tip. I won't give away all my secrets. But little tip. Any little imperfection, they can see it.
Yeah, fantastic. And Stu, tell us, do you spend a fair bit of time on the water off Victor Harbour when the tuna are running through? Is that your favourite thing to do this time of year?
Yeah, absolutely. So once the kingfish move out, everything turns to tuna. Once the kingfish have spawned and that water's way too hot up there, which is what happens, and they move out, everything turns to tuna from sort of November, October, and right the way through till basically now, now, sort of March time, end of March. And yeah, I live half an hour from the ramp, so I fish quite hard midweek, even just afternoon sessions. I love going out. I'll do a lot of solo fishing in my boat. So I'll go out solo on a late afternoon, launch at 3 o'clock, no one else on the water till sundown, and yeah, it's great fun having tuna all to yourself. And yeah, they're just really fun to catch. The missus likes eating them. I probably only eat 1 or 2 a season because you get a lot of meat from, even just a 15-kilo fish. So most of my fish are all tagged and released, and anywhere from 50 to 100 a season, depending on the trips I do.
That's pretty impressive, Stu. Any tips for a couple of blokes like us in a small tinny trying to catch a tuna?
Staying close in the afternoon. In the afternoon, you will get lots of fish in close around the bluff and very easily accessible around the bluff and Seal Rock. If you spend a week down there and do that pretty much every day, I could almost guarantee you'll catch fish.
That's interesting, because certainly a lot of the action at the boat ramp seems to be first thing in the morning, and that tends to be when we go as well.
Yeah, so a lot of people do, and unfortunately you do get some people that don't really know what to do, like a school will be busting up and they'll drive straight through it and spook the fish, so definitely don't do that. That's a big no-no. While they're busting up, you want to work the edges, leave them feeding on their bait. If they see the boat come over the top, they'll literally dive down deep. So you want to circle the outside and they'll literally see your prop wash, think it's bait as well, see your lures, and they'll peel out off that bait and smash your lures in the spread. But late afternoon at Big Bird the last few years has really been fishing well, just in close around the bluff off of Newlands Heads, Wapinga area, around Seal Rock, and you don't need to go far, and you're a couple K out.
Yeah, fantastic. They're really good tips. Thanks for that, Stu. And you mentioned Port Mac for some barrels when your lads get a bit older. What's your biggest tuna so far?
Biggest tuna, I haven't got a barrel yet. I've been, like I said, it took me 4 years to get my first kingy. So it's taken me 3 or 4 years probably from my first barrel. I still haven't got one yet. So yeah, I'll be going down again. I had 2 runs, one around Easter and one around September, October. So I'll go down there again, Portland, Fort Mac. But at this stage, the biggest tuna I've ever got was 38 kilo, which is still a
that's a
very large fish. If you look at my fish at coast to coast, it's nearly double the size of that one. So it's pretty big fish. That was off of Wedge Island. And he was 38 kilos. He was a monster. Yeah,
fantastic. Thanks for that, Stu. And tell us about the Adelaide Game Fishing Club, mate. You're involved in that, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so I'm the secretary and treasurer for the Adelaide Game Fishing Club. So we're obviously based purely in South Australia. So all of our members are South Australian based. You have to be. That's one of the things with the club. But we're a member-based social fishing club, and we encourage and promote tag and release game fishing. So majority of our members will tag and release all of their fish, their sharks, their kingfish, their barrels. And we operate under, like I said previously, the rules and regulations with the Game Fishing Association of Australia and the IGFA. So you've sort of got the two major clubs, one being us and the other one is the Game Fishing Club of South Australia. They're predominantly just bigger boats, so we're smaller boats, trailer boats. And they're predominantly in the Rivieras and things like that. So we're a little bit smaller boats, and predominantly our members tag kingfish. So that's what our members do, and we promote that, and we promote sustainable fishing, and it's also a source of scientific research because the tagging program is run by New South Wales Department for Fisheries, DIPD over there. Yep. So they can obviously tag and track where all the tuna go. So basically to join up, it's literally just inquire, demonstrate that you either want to actively tag and release fish, or that you either do it already. And then, it's family friendly. We've got children that are members. We've got one young kid who wins absolutely everything. tournaments. So we have like a yearly calendar where we'll run club events and raffles and stuff. But it's purely just like a social fishing club that promotes tag and release game fishing.
Yeah, beautiful. So you have regular social catch-ups as well as going out fishing together, Stu?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so we meet at the Seven Stars Hotel. They've always been really great, great supporters of ours, and we meet there and have catch-ups for our members when they want to. Everyone has really busy lives this day and age, so we always put the member catch-ups on, and we go have a feed and a drink and talk fishing, and then we obviously have our prize award night as well, and we host that. It's either at the Seven Stars or sometimes at the Hyde Park Tavern as well, and have all of our award prizes where our generous sponsors donate everything. So
sounds really good, Stu. Sounds like something we might have to get involved in.
Yeah, absolutely. More than happy to send you boys the nomination form.
We've only got the small tinny, but we'll get a couple in close off the bluff, hopefully.
That's a lot of our members do. Our president's got a small tinny, and he catches more kingies than all of us.
It can certainly be done. All right, Stu, that has been very, very informative and a great chat. So thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Stu. Really appreciate it. There's fantastic insights in there for all you fishers out there. So take his hot tips on board because he's clearly got it down pat.
No worries, guys. Thanks very much for having me. Appreciate it.
And make sure you get involved in the Adelaide Game Fishing Club because that sounds like an excellent organisation as well.
You'll be able to find the link on our Facebook and Instagram pages, guys. We'll get that up there for you as well. Cheers again, Stu.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate. Bye. All right, thanks very much, Stu, for joining us. That was a great guest to have on our first episode, and I'm sure all you listeners out there would have learnt plenty from that. So thanks a lot to Stu. Now, moving on to our week fishing the Yorke Peninsula. So a couple of weeks ago, we had a trip planned to get over to KI, as we tend to this time of year. Unfortunately, the north coast where we were going to stay suffered a bit of damage. The house survived, but wasn't appropriate for us to go over given the clean-up effort.
Shout out to the CFS, the Army, all the volunteers, everyone involved did a really good job there, no doubt.
So we ended up over at Dizzy's parents' place at Black Point. So a big shout out to Dave on Dye for having us at the beautiful shack on the peninsula there at Black Point, which is a beautiful spot.
Yeah, it was. It was a great week, definitely. We started off well. The weather was great when we got there. The first day, the Saturday, we got out on the boat, got into the whiting. We caught quite a few whiting. That was enough for that day. We only had the afternoon, and then we really hit the blue swimmer crabs hard the next day. We had a good mate Goody out there, having a few mid-strength beers.
Drink responsibly.
We got the bag. We bag.
We filled the esky. And we even did a little bit of speed crabbing. So setting a few PBs, how quickly you could get around and pick up those 4 crab pots, empty them in the bucket and keep on moving.
Yes, that was a good way to break up the day's worth of crabbing. Weather definitely played a role in the sort of middle of the week there, keeping us off the water. We had a few sloppy days. We've only got a small 4.2 metre tinny, so we can't get out too far when the weather doesn't play the game, but we had plenty of other things to do throughout the week to sort of keep us interested.
So as the week went on, a couple of nights it calmed off nicely and the garfish moved into the moorings and we managed to dab a few of them, which is always a great social event. Take the girls out, take 5 or 6 of us out on the boat and see how many gar you can dab. That was good fun, and they certainly cooked up well with a bit of salt and pepper and some breadcrumbs the next morning.
Oh yeah, they were great. This was all before the boat started to play up. We did have some troubles with the boat. Lee's Marine, he's got us back on the water. Coast Road Motors at Ardrossan were also really helpful, so that was fantastic. Great to have them be able to help us out when we're on our holidays and get us back going on the water. The whiting was sporadic. We had a few good mornings on them. The first day was probably our best, but we sort of found some other fishing things we like to do to fill in the time, didn't we?
Yeah, certainly good to get down to Shirk Flat, which is a beautiful little spot. So launched the boat at Port Julia, did a bit of whiting fishing and finished with a bit of a dive for some scallops just with the snorkeling gear out the front of the shacks at Shirk Flat, and they certainly made a nice little entree for the crew.
They did, yeah. That's a really great spot, Sheoak Flat. It's those little hot spots around the Yorke Peninsula that make it what it is. And you got a chance to go get some crays, Rody. Tell us about that.
Yep, so Jack took me out, so a mate of ours took us out diving for some crays down the bottom end. So I put the boat in at Gleeson's with him and his family. So we got headed down towards Pondy out the front of some rocky outcrops, had a dive and did very well. I pulled in a couple, but the locals certainly outdid me and they pulled in a couple over 4 kilos. So certainly plenty of crayfish to go around, and a couple of the smaller ones on the barbie with a bit of garlic butter went down a treat.
Jack told me you didn't get any, mate.
It was dark underwater, mate. He couldn't see what was going on.
No, we had a great time on the Yorke Peninsula. It was a great, as you said, great substitute to KI, and got to visit a few of our favourite little spots. Got the boat out. The girls had a great time, but it was a fantastic week on the Yorke Peninsula.
Certainly was. So getting towards the end of today's episode, so what we would like you to do is connect with us via Facebook or Instagram. Give us a like, give us a follow, and make sure you hit us up with any questions, any feedback, anything you'd like to hear on the podcast. We certainly want this to be as interactive as you can.
We're going to share some material, so like that, comment on that, tell your friends. It's all about banter and good times with your mates fishing.
All right, and the final segment on every episode of All the Gear But No Idea, this will certainly be a highlight for you all, is the fishing joke of the day.
Pending your feedback, of course, out there, the listeners. Hit it with us, Rody.
All right, one day, two guys, Frank and Bob, were out having a fish. A funeral service passes over the bridge they were fishing in, and Bob takes off his hat, puts it over his heart. He does this until the funeral service has passed by. Frank then said, "Gee, Bob, I didn't know you had it in you." Bob then replies, "It's the least I could do. After all, I was married to her for 30 years. He's in hysterics.
Ordinary gear. I'm sure we won't be keeping that every episode, particularly if they're that bad, mate. But all seriousness, guys, thanks very much for listening. We hope you liked it. We're going to make sure we get plenty of guests on the show.
A massive shout out to Stu from the Adelaide Game Fishing Club, and congratulations, Stu, on the big win in the Coast to Coast Tuna competition. So thanks for joining us and teaching us a heap.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. See ya.
Rody and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.